Hello everyone, in this video we will study some details of the sexual reproduction, which is a part of chapter 1, Reproduction in Organisms. I have already completed asexual reproduction and vegetative propagation. You can go to other videos to see the description first. Sexual reproduction is a very advanced type of reproduction because it has formed lately in the process of evolution. So this type of reproduction is more recent. Now, if I talk about plants they do not directly enter into the sexual reproduction phase. First, vegetative growth has to happen in the plant, and then after vegetative growth only, reproductive growth occurs, or reproductive growth or reproductive phase occurs in the plant. Vegetative growth is a one which occurs in terms of increase in the length or diameter of roots. Same with stems, increase in the length or diameter of the stem, or increase in the number of leaves. But reproductive growth in the plant, it is characterized by the onset of flowering. Means whenever flower occurs, that means we say that the plant has entered into the reproductive phase. Now different plants are there basing upon their life. Some are annuals, some are biennials, some are perennials. Annuals are the plants which complete their life cycle in 1 year. Biennial are the plants that complete their life in 2 years. Perennial are the plants that live for many years. That means if annuals are completing their life in 1 year, that means vegetative growth and reproductive growth is happening in a year, and that's why the plant is able to complete its life cycle. Similarly, the plants which are completing their life cycle in 2 years, first year they show vegetative growth and second year they show reproductive growth, and then ultimately the plant will die. Now if you have seen mango tree is simultaneously giving us vegetative growth, it is observed, and then it enters into the reproductive growth. So it is continuing vegetative, reproductive, then vegetative, reproductive, vegetative, reproductive sequentially for years and years, and it is living for so many years because its lifespan is more. There are some plants, like we need to know the name of bamboo. Bamboo is a very common grass, and this only flowers once in life for about 50 to 100 years. It has longevity of 50 to 100 years and it flowers only once in life. Another important plant which you need to learn is Strobilanthes kunthiana. This example is very important to learn because this plant flowers once in 12 years. As per the NCERT, it is written that it has last flowered in 2006. However, if you check Google, then they will tell you that flowering was also seen in the year 2018. That means after every 12 years, it enters into the reproductive phase for a very short period, and then vegetative phase goes on for 12 years. So these examples are a must to learn: bamboo, which flowers only once in life, and Strobilanthes kunthiana, which is the name of a plant. I have underlined it because this is the scientific name. So the first name is the genus name and the second name is the species name. This plant flowers once in 12 years. According to the NCERT, they say 2006, and according to the Google, the next year is 2018. So learn both the years. This was all about plants. Now we will move towards animals. Let's take the examples of human beings and some animals here. Whenever they become sexually mature or whenever their body becomes ready to enter into the reproductive phase, there are two types of cycle we talk about. One is the menstrual cycle, which occurs in the human females, and another is the oestrus cycle that occurs in the animals. So both the animals and the human beings, sexual maturity is marked by the onset of menstrual cycle and oestral cycle. In boards, the differences between them are also asked. So you can write upon that menstrual cycle, it occurs in the primates. So primates include all the human beings and all the derivatives like monkeys. They are also the derivatives of the human being. Apes are also the derivatives, and human beings, of course. So this cycle, menstrual cycle, it occurs in the primates. Whereas oestrus cycle occur in the non-primates, means which are not our ancestors like dog, cat, sheep, etc. Menstrual cycle is divided into 3 phases, and the names of 3 phases are menstrual phase. This you need to learn in a sequential order. Then comes follicular phase, and after that last phase comes, which is known as the secretory phase. In grade 12 biology, this is also a very important topic for the board examination. We will study details of each phase in chapter number 3. So in oestrus cycle, no such peculiar phase is noticed. Means oestrus cycle does occur, but it is not divided into the phases as menstrual cycle is. Now menstrual cycle is noticed to have bleeding in the menstrual phase. So here menstrual phase is your MP. So you need to write in full bleeding in the menstrual phase. Here no bleeding occurs. So I will recommend you to learn these 2-3 differences, because in the board practicals also all these topics are important. Menstrual cycle occurs in the primates, oestrus cycle occurs in the non-primates. It is divided into 3 phases. The menstrual cycle is divided into menstrual phase, follicular phase, secretory phase. Oestrus cycle is not divided into such phases. Bleeding is remarkably noticed in the menstrual phase, which is the first phase of the menstrual cycle, whereas in oestrus cycle no bleeding occurs. Now we will move towards the events of sexual reproduction. 5 marks question is asked on this topic in grade 12 biology. What are the events of sexual reproduction? So the first event is known as pre-fertilization event. Then comes the fertilization event. So here F means fertilization, and after this the last phase is there, which is known as post-fertilization. Here also F means fertilization. So pre always means prior and post always means later. So the term is clearer to you now. The events that are going to happen just prior to the fertilization, they will be known as pre-fertilization events. Fertilization event would be the one wherein 2 different gametes, one will be known as male, another would be known as female, they both will fuse together. In the post-fertilization event, we will look in for all the things that happen after fertilizations, and ultimately a new individual will be formed. So we are going to study the details of these events in our next video. Thank you.